we've done setting up the project, Flutter project, and we've done some setups and configurations for all necessary classes that we're going to use. So we've seen how to set up goRouter, we've seen how to set up DO, and also we've seen how to set up some dependency injections. Okay, so now what we need to do, next step, is to deal with API integration. So we're going to consume all the APIs that we've done on the backend side, from categories, product, and other upcoming APIs that we will develop. So on this part, we want to do some API integrations for the categories and also for the product. Okay, so this is the UI that we need to achieve by the end of this part. Okay, so there's a discover, there's a part for cut. We will see we will have our also dedicated section for cut system. Then there's search, and this is just a simple slider. And then there's categories, and also all products that are available on our system. Okay, so here we need to fetch all categories and display them, and also when you click one of the categories, it will list out all the product that belongs to that category. And also we will see how to fetch all this product with their image. We will have a single page for say particular product, and also we can see how to achieve this displaying multiple items. Okay, so also later on we're going to see how to deal with cut functionality. Okay, so this is the first part that we need to work on it. So now let's go back to the code and see how can we achieve this. To the code side, and then let's start to handle that. So I want to do some quick fix here. I need to use register lazy singleton instead of register factory, because this means that this will be initialized only when it's needed, so it save memory and all that stuff. Okay, so this ensure that the app router is only created once, and it's going to be reused all over the app. Okay, so register lazy singleton. Good. Now our approach when it comes to working on features is feature based. So it means we will have a folder for a certain feature, and then everything that belongs to that feature will be inside that folder. So with that, it helps in terms of scalability and maintenance. Okay, so we're going to have a feature for home screen, which means the UI that I showed you. Okay, and also we're going to have feature for products. Okay, so this feature will have what will the folders be in this feature. So we have D for dependency injection. You'll see we have model, meaning that for dealing with converting response that are coming from the external APIs, and then we will convert them in order for that to understand. And then we also have presentation. Okay, so presentation, it will involve all the UI part, and also the last will be repository. Okay, so this is going to be the same for all of other features that we will implement in upcoming lessons. Okay, so we have D, and this will be for dependency injection. We'll see we have model, presentation, and then lastly repository. Okay, and then lastly, and the one file to add also is products. Okay, so here we will export everything that it belongs to product. So when we import only the product.dat on any file, no matter how many things we need from this, we will have access to that. So it will reduce importing a lot of things from a single file. Okay, so Okay, so here, let's see. Here we're going to have product repository. Okay, so here we're going to have product repository.dat, and I want to export that because it's only okay. So export product. So from repository, product repository. Okay. The first thing we need to do is always we need to check. We want to integrate API, so we need to check the response for anything that we want to have that available on our mobile app. So I never tried Thunder client. I've installed it, but I never tried. I want to use it because it this is just simple APIs. I don't want to. I think it's localhost 93/API/ let's see, I want to do something and see enable products. Okay, what is it? It's localhost. Wrong versioning number. Oh, is it disabled running? Oh, not HTTPS. Localhost, come on. Okay. Oh, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to use Thunder client for most of this. What the purpose of doing this is I want to see the response of product because I want to integrate fetching all product, also fetching all categories, fetching product based on the categories. Okay, so this is the response. So the first thing to do is to see how it is, and you need to structure it also on that side, so to convert this JSON in order for that to understand and display all this information that we need. Okay, so we will go to okay, so now this is okay. I will go to product repository. This is a place where we'll work on fetching and dealing with calling these APIs. And so we're going to say we call product repository, and then we're going to need DO service. Okay, DO service, and then DO. Okay, generate constructor. You need to do this because it helps in testing. This code will be easy to test because just you will mock DO service and everything will be fine. So how are we going to do that? So we want to fetch all product. So future, it's either, I don't know if I import, oh yes, it's either of failure, okay, or this we need to, so what I'm doing here, I want to call all those information coming from the response. Okay, so what I need to do is to create a model, a product model, which will be responsible to fetch all this information, and we will convert them from JSON in order for that to understand, and then we will display those information on our screen. So we need to go to model, and I think if this we call this product model, add to JSON from JSON, yes, product model. Good. So I think this freezed class which I create, it's an extension that helps in in creating this boilerplate for us, because we're going to use code generation and then we're going to use freeze for that. So we don't have to write, I think this one, the one that did the trick. So we don't want to write all this boilerplate. We just add only the necessary information that we need, and then the rest will be taken care of. Okay, so let's see how to use freeze also here, and freeze annotation, and how to generate this code based on the response that is coming from our this one. So this is the response, this is the first product, and then there's a comma, there's another product. So we want all this information to convert them to have from JSON, and then that will be available, and then we're going to see how we're going to display all this information in our screen. Okay, so we check the response and understand all the data types inside here, and then we will add them here. So we need to do what we need to do here is just to define data types here, and then so we have required int, it's an ID, and also here, because it's an ID, and also we have name, it's a string. Okay, name, and then we have required description, if I'm correct, right? Here we have a description, we have price is a string. Okay, so you need to check and the data type that in the response, and then that will help you to know what and also to help freeze to define this method from JSON to JSON copy with. I think I have a dedicated video which I explained all about freezed. Okay, so we have description, we have stock, then so we are saying required string, it's a stock, and then we have category ID, it's an int. Okay, and here let me move fast, and then here it's an int category ID. Okay, and then we have created that and updated that, and also this list of object product image with the URL. So we will see how to deal with them. So here we have required is a datetime. Okay, datetime, it's created that, and then the same applies to, I think it's updated that. Well, just let's copy it so we don't have any issues when this. Okay, and also we have a product image. So here this is a list of an object which contains the URLs. So how do we do that? Okay, so what we do here is I will go here and then click this generate new freezed class. Okay, and then I will call it product image. Okay, yes, and then what it will do is it will add this, and here what I'm doing is I want to check this is a string. URL is a string. Okay, so this contains only one thing, which is a URL. It's a data type is a string. So what I'm going to do here is also I'm going to say required a string URL. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to okay, so make sure this is okay, it's good, and then go back to the product, and then I'm going to say it's a list of this object, but we will have to do, but it will, I think after we do the code generation it will, okay, it's a list, it can be now of product product image. Okay, so we need to do something here, and I will explain to you. Whenever I'm copying this, and I'm going to explain to you what I'm doing. So this is a required, but I want to add this. Oh, come on. I want to add this. I think JSON key, and then I'm copying is this. What I'm doing is this. Let me go back. Let me remove this JSON product image. So this is just a naming. This is the naming thing that you will do, and you will use this to get this information. Okay, but there's a scenario whereby you have product image in this way, uppercase. So you cannot use uppercase here. I think it will see it as a class. Okay, I think. Okay, so I don't want to have this kind of conflict. So I'm saying call this product image, this type. It's a list of product image, which is a list of an object or data interface type of product image. But the JSON key for it that is coming from the server is this one. Okay, and so use this. Make sure the JSON key is this product image. Okay, because what it's doing here, once it's going to do from JSON, is going to put this price from JSON and description from JSON coming from JSON. So it expects all of those coming from JSON in that format. If I put this, it will fail to convert this file. It will fail to deal with this. Okay, and you're going to face an error. Okay, so with that being said, everything is okay here. I think we have all the information that we need. Product image is okay. You will go to terminal, and then we will run as usual, build runner, build. Okay, delete any conflict. Come on, don't tell me I didn't. Freeze hype generator. Okay, we have something called pub assist dependency. I think is build runner, if I'm correct. Okay, we cannot find build runner. Why cannot find build runner? So that it's build runner it used to run some code generation for us, and then it will it's used mostly for generation. Okay, so build runner is not there, and then I need to. It's called build runner. What did I do? Pub assist, add or update. It's build runner. Okay, hey, you're not supposed to be there, and you're supposed to be here in a dev dependency. Okay, so you need to make sure you have build runner. It's complaining some conflict. Let's put it to 12 as this is saying, 2.4.12. And let's see. Yeah, can you? Okay, this Flutter SDK, Flutter build under. Okay, I'm putting it 12. Okay, in 11. Okay, now it's good. It's good. Okay, so okay, now we go back to this that run build learner build delete conflict, and then it will. So what it will do, it will generate all this method that you will see, which we really need in order to communicate with our API and consume all those necessary information, and then we're going to use those information to display that to our final user. Okay, so with this, make sure you have JSON serializable, you have build run, okay, and also freezed and freeze the annotation. Okay. Failed. What's wrong? Product image. I think maybe we didn't import it, and then let's run again. So what it did here for the one that you generate is so this is something, the code that you don't have to modify. It just put all this method that are necessary to string, which you are used for necessary for debugging and all that. But I want you to show you this from toString. You're going to see which is for equality, and also from JSON. Okay, and which this one to JSON, from JSON, so price, and here I treat it as product image because that's what it's in the response. If you didn't see, if you put it product image, it will put that product image here. It will see as you want that, as that is the name that is coming from our server, and then you're going to have issues to have this information. Okay, so with this it's good. Now let's go back to our product repository and see how we can fetch all how we can fetch this information of getting all the product. Okay, repository, and call all those necessary endpoint. So before doing that, go to your service with the one we configured and add the base URL. Okay, I use mostly iOS emulator, so it's okay to have localhost, but if you're using Android emulator or any Android physical device, you will have to go to, you have to use ifconfig or ipconfig command to see the IP address, and then you will paste that here, and then you'll have this to be able to communicate with your local server. Okay, now let's go back here. All these are the method that we need to implement. So we have fetch all product, fetch single product details, fetch all categories, and fetch all product based on category ID. Okay, so let's move. Now we need to fetch all product. So it's a feature of either, which is coming from that's failure or list of product model. Okay, and then okay, so what is happening here, we are using either, which it's if it's just helping us to handle managing network stuffs calling. So here we are going to have left and right side. Left is for errors things, which if anything happened, it will throw on the left side. If our response or our request was successfully, it will return us on the right side. So that's how we're going to, so this helps us to manage network stuffs. Okay, so now we need to try to wrap it in try and catch, and here we're going to say on the exception return to our left side, but it's a failure. Okay, and also here we will need to make sure we will refactor our backend code to make sure we have this kind of response. We don't have that. If there's any error, we don't manage that properly on the backend, which you need to do that in order for frontend to display that error or to our final user. Okay, so we're going to have to, for now, just leave it that way. Okay, and then let's go back. So here, if there's failure, you're going to return that. Oh, go, wow. So I'm using Codium, so that's this is good, yeah. But okay, now we are going to write it by ourselves, because I know no people, not anyone, everyone knows how to. Okay, so we're using DO service here. So after adding the base URL, you don't have to use this. So the base URL is /API /. So anything here for us it will be products. Okay, so with this it means the response. So what we're doing here is saying if res.status code, this is coming from, this is for, is equal to, we need to check on the Thunder client what was the 200. Okay, so here if the status code is 200, we're pretty sure that our request was successfully, and then we're going to have back all the product. Okay, and this is from response to data. Okay, the data will be returning the response. Okay, and okay, now here is also if product is not empty. Okay, so because it's a list, so we have that is not empty, so we want to return right side. Okay, and then it's going to be products dot map, and then we can call anything, each one of those, convert them to from JSON. Okay, and then to list. So it's just making sure each product, this one, we're going to convert them from JSON, and then we're going to return it on the right side, because here the right side expect the list of product mode. Okay, and else I'm going to we're going to return so if else, we're going to return it was a successful response, and but we don't have any product, so return to us an empty list. Okay, that's okay. And if also there's an else, if the response is not 200, return to us the failure. Okay, but we will have proper way to handle these error stuffs. Okay, so this, for now, this is good. Okay, so yeah, now this is the first method. Then next is fetching single product. Let me copy and paste it here, but I want to try it. We need to make sure we try and see if everything is good. And if I remember, I don't think I showed on the backend how to get single product, but I will show you. Just the code is simple. Okay, we're just going to return all product where the find first where the IDs go. Let's say for here we want smartwatch. We're going to this is the endpoint. Okay, smartwatch is going to return to us this one. Okay, so this is the input, just slash the ID of that. Okay, good. Now let's go back here. We want to fetch single product details, meaning that we want to fetch single details of that product. So single, we can call this single product. Okay, and here it's not a list, just it just says one. And also here, if the status code is 200, it's not a list, it's a product. Okay, so it's product and we don't have to use if it's empty here. If it's that, meaning just return product from JSON else list. Okay, so that the right side return as the product model and the left side return as the error. Okay, so it's just a simple. And also here we need to, I forgot, this is very important. Yeah, so here we will pass the ID, and what we'll do here is we will use that ID here. So that will be like here. So product slash the product ID. So product slash the product ID. So it's also a get. So we will supply the ID here when we call this method, and then we will get that product. Okay. So let's see. And then I think here we're done fetching single product details, and then here we have what we need also is categories, and then categories, I think it's categories. Okay, category. Okay, so run the project using npm start dev as I showed you on the backend, how to run this to make sure the port is open 3000, and then so you can have access. So I just I run this. So don't you will ask, how do you get this? You have to make sure the server is running, and then you'll have access to all your endpoint is running on this. Okay, so go to a project and then run the server. So it starts listening on port 3000. Okay, so we want to deal with category also, and then lastly we're going to see how to get our product based on the category. Okay, so this is the endpoint, and then we have this response. As you know, we will define this also and convert from JSON, and we'll have access to all this, and then we will use those information later on. And the method to fetch all categories that are available in our backend. Okay, so we have, this is an endpoint, we have this response with status code 200. Okay, so it's a list. So we need to, before we need to make sure we create the model for fetching all this information, and then we can use that to have that from JSON and get all this information that we need to for in that side, so we can convert them in order to display this information on our mobile. So before doing anything, we remember the steps are to make sure we go to the model, and then here we create a class. We call category model dot, sorry, category, what's the name, category model, add to JSON from JSON. Yes, it's going to add for us. Go to a model, export this. Okay, category model dot. Okay, and then go to this and define the data that are available, or the data that you want to deal with them. So we need to check on the request for here. I want the ID and the name only. I don't need created and updated that. Okay, so we're going to have required int ID and also required string okay, name. Okay, with that we are done with it. We can run the build runner and make sure they're going to create the necessary method here. So every time you use freeze, you're going to have for class, they're going to give you toString, equality, copy width, and also from JSON to JSON. So those are all going to be generated for us. So this is good because it increases productivity, development speed, and we don't have to deal with all those stuffs. You just define what you need and then Freeze will handle for us. Okay, so good, now it's done. See, so here we have this from JSON, we have an ID and name that's as a string, print. Okay, good. Now let's go back and I want this method because it's the same to fetch all categories. What I need here is a category model. Okay, category model, and then this is the endpoint. Visual is already there, and then we have to add this. It's a get. So here you can say categories. Okay, here you can say categories not empty, categories not empty, and then here we're going to say fetch categories. Okay, okay, so it's the same thing, the same. So we need to make sure if categories empty and categories map category from JSON. Yeah, so we're good with it. It happened really fast. Okay, here we're done with it. Now we need to implement this fetch all product based on category ID. So if we go to the request, we have this API products slash category slash 2. Let's see. So what it's doing here, it will return for us all the product that belongs to category that belongs to a specific category. So this main jeans belongs to category ID 2, which if you see, it's a fashion or stuff. So this is the endpoint which you need. So we will use this as I show you the screen previously. You're going to list all categories, and then once you click one of the categories, you're going to give all the product that belongs to that category. So this will be the endpoint to get all this. So it's a list of all products. Okay, so you need to copy this. Okay, first I want to copy this one, fetch product, and then paste it here because it's the same product, and then fetch product based on category. Okay, it's okay. Yeah, so copy this is the endpoint products, and don't worry about testing. We will do testing, and once we reach to the screen, the UI, the presentation screens, here you will make sure you need to pass the ID, which will be the ID of that product, of the category. So you will pass the category ID here, and then the endpoint will do the rest. Everything here is the same. Okay, so products, categories, and then the ID of that. Okay, this is good. So the repository is done. So this will be the class that will be responsible to communicate with our external server, the server, and then after this we need to go to presentation, and then we will add the block. The block will be responsible to handle business logic, and the block will communicate with product repository to get all those information based on the specific requirement of the specific business logic. Okay, so here we are done from the product repository. We want to go to presentation. So this will be our structure for all the features. Okay, presentation, and then we create a new block. What I need here is new freeze block, product block. Okay, it's going to create what event, state, and all that, and then we'll use just the same freeze to generate everything. So now let's go to state and define the states, and also we go to event and define the events, and I will explain all that. So we are using block here in our project to manage state. So block is just state management library that is responsible to handle for you managing state. So it's very good for big project, meaning it enforces you to separate the business logic with the UI. So everything concerning the state will be managed on the block, and the UI will only be responsible to listen and get what will be the current state, what is the state, everything in terms of business logic and maintaining the state is in the block. Okay, so this is good. Of course, one of the good state management libraries. Okay, and so we are using a block consists of, for those maybe who not much have an understanding of block, it deals mostly with event, state, and the block class itself. Okay, so state, this is where we define the state we will see that we want to manage. Event, this is where we will define an event which will be triggered or called, and when an event is triggered in a simple way, we will go to product block and define the logic to handle that event. So you have to define an event, and when that event is added, you will need to manage that in the main block itself, and then you will maintain the state. So if when if for example I'm saying I want, when I click this button to notify me that the button has been clicked, you have to define the event that may call button click, and that event you have to add that event. We will see, and when that event will be added, we want to manage that state. We will say that if this event is being clicked, show notification. So we may have a bool type of saying show notification. If that is true, it will show notification. So we will see how do we connect all of these, and in the end have something that is meaningful using block. Okay, so now we need to go to state first. That's always the steps I follow: defining the state, define my event, and then lastly I go to the product class itself and then define the business logic and all those necessary things that are needed. So here we will see what do we need in this state. So I need an enum, okay, of product status, okay, and it's going to have initial. We're going to have loading is going to have success, going to have failure. Good. Now what do we need here? Okay, so our product state, we will product state, we are using freeze to generate for us copy width and all those necessary qualities that we will need. Okay, so we need to okay, so products initial, let me see here. Okay, this is just code completion coming from Codium. I don't need this. I will explain what I need. So here we will define an initial state, because when this product product block is being initiated, it needs an initial state, otherwise you're going to have issues. Okay, and then initial, and then return const product state. Okay, it's empty, of course. Now we need is to define the states that we want to manage. Okay, so the first one is a string of error. This we will use to get that error that is coming from the backend, and then we will show that to our user. We're going to need this type of product status, and also we're going to need a type. We're going to need also a product model. Here we will use this to store the current product, single product that has been fetched from our API. This is going to be an empty, and I think this is in lowercase if I'm okay. And also this is going to use when we're going to use it when you're fetching single product. Okay, and also we're going to see how we're going to need a list and a state that we're going to handle the list of products. Okay, and then the same, we're going to need a list that's responsible for a categories product. Okay, so all products that are on the particular categories products. Okay, and also we need a state that's going to manage list of categories. So we're going to have a list of category model. Okay, so we're going to have categories. Okay, and on an initial state here, we want an error to be an empty string, product to be null by default, and products to be an empty list. Okay, categories to be also an empty list, and categories product to be an empty list. But I forgot status. Okay, status to be product status.initial. Okay, so here we are putting an initial state, and then here we will, when this class has been loaded, it will have an initial state, and all of these are the state that we will use to manage our products, categories. Remember, these are the remote state, meaning we don't need to store all of them here offline. So we will manage the information of products on this state, okay, and product and block will be responsible to manage that state. So if we have an empty list, if we have 5 or 10 products, all of them will be managed here, and it's okay. So this is the first step. After defining the state using freeze, this will generate all the necessary method that we need: copy with, through string, equalities, and all the biggest one that I usually like to define this is copy with, which will be responsible to change only the state that you want to change, and everything will be the same. Okay, and after defining the state, we're going to define the event, because our block consists of event. If you don't want to use event, you can use qubit, which is the simplified version, I think, if I can call it, of block. But with event, you have a lot of advanced features that we will see later on when we implement maybe searching, so that all of those will have them in block. So in block, you must make sure you define all the event, you define the state, and then you go and implement that on the class itself. We have done the state. Now we're going to see what event that we need on this product block. So I've already added the event, okay, and I will explain to you. Now what I'm doing here is I defined an event called load product. This event, when it will be called, it will handle the business logic of fetching all those products from endpoint. The same applies to load categories, and also for load product. This event you are supposed to pass. So if there are some scenarios where the event needs to have some parameters, and this is one of them. So load product, here we want to fetch single product, all the details of one product, which will use that on the single details page. So we need to pass an ID. So what it will happen when you add this event, you will pass that ID, and then block will handle manage fetching that information, and it will use the state. It will manage the state of that product. So this will be managed by block, and it will be this product. So you will see how to do that. The same applies to road product by category. Remember this, we have to pass that category ID, and the backend will return to us all those products that belongs to that category. So don't worry about this red error stuffs. This we are using freeze. So after defining this, we need to run build runner. Okay, so run build runner, and then it will handle for us generating all necessary things that they need to generate. Okay, so this is the beauty of code generation nowadays. Things are becoming much faster to develop, and you don't have to worry all those boilerplate stuff that we had to do back then before code generation. Okay, so now let's wait for code build runner to build all those necessary things based on our what we define here. Good. So now this is good. The last thing we need to go is to the class itself, the product block. Okay, so what we need here is block needs to, it will be responsible to communicate with product repository. Okay, and a product repository will give all those information that blocks need. Okay, so we're going to require this dot product repository. So block will need to communicate, will depend on product repository, and this is where dependency injections comes in, and they'll help us to create all those things and initialize for us product block and all of its dependency. So what we need to do here is in block we need to okay, this is good. So I was seeing if Codium what will do. Okay, and okay, load product. Okay, so this is the event name, and I copied it, and I'll explain here. I want to show you something. So what is happening, it says we are saying is if this event has been added, handle the logic for this event, and I'm going to show you how is it done. But normally is you have to use on. This is from block on this. If this event is added, or in a simple language, if this event has been triggered, handle the business logic, or instruct block to handle for you the business logic and manage the state if necessary. So we're going to see that, and then I think it will be you will have to practice yourself also, for those who don't understand much about using block. Okay, so after adding the we've seen if you want to communicate or interact with the event, you use on and then the event name, And so what I've done here is I've added the method. It's just method that will handle the business logic. So for example, if on load product event has been added or been triggered, handle this business logic for us. So what we're doing here is we are emitting. Okay, so I will show you the simplest way. If I will comment this, if I hover here, I will say create method on get. Where is it? I think here. So you don't have to worry about this. It will create for you here, and then you will handle the business logic. So let me get it back. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I use emit. This is basically like it will be responsible to communicate, to interact with the state and change the state based on your instructions or your instructions. So what I'm doing here is I'm saying if on load product emit status, emit copy with, meaning take only the status and change the product status to loading. Put, also change the product state to an empty list, meaning here don't interact with any state, only this state, and change them to be in this flow for now. So the product will be an empty list, so it's like wiping out. And then communicate with product repository to fetch all the product. And because we use either, we have the left side and the right side, which is a product module. Result, we have this result.fold API, which will be for the left side, state.copy with change the state of error by giving this message, because error is a string, give that message, and then change the state to product status initial. You also have put here maybe error. Okay, so and also on the right side, meaning if the request was successfully, then change the product's state to the error, which mean the data itself, which here we'll put all those all this response in a product model. Okay, and also change the status to initial. So this is how we are doing it. And also if the state is on load product, do the same thing, communicate with product repository to get the single product. Here we pass an ID, because in the load product event we are expecting an ID. Okay, so that's what we're doing here. We will have that information when we call this load product event, pass the ID, and then on the result for the left side you will do the same. Take the errors and put them, and if there's an error, put that in this error string. We will use that to show the notification. And if it's the request was successfully, then give me the information of that product based on the ID that I've passed here. And also the same for all categories. Fetch all categories. Before fetching, emit the state of product status to loading. We will use that to show loading indicator. Categories, put them in an empty list, because it's like invalidate. It's like clean all and then give me the fresh ones. Okay, so that's why I did this kind of putting in an empty array. And then the same for the left side, return for us an error if there's any issues. Okay, and also for the right side, if the request was successfully, give me back the information that I want on the same point. And the same for on getting all product based on category. Here we will pass the category ID, and then we'll handle the rest. Okay, so this will be our product block and all the method that we need for now. Okay, so the last thing is we need to inject it, so we will use product injection dot. So what is happening here is we're injecting all this, and then we're going to make sure it's ready. Okay, so here product, we can call it product injection container, and then sync, and then okay. Also we need a locator. Come on, you show me that. Come on. Okay, I don't want, you're too lazy, type it yourself. Okay, register lazy singleton. It will be product repository. Okay, so product repository, and then product repository, we will get that from products. It expects also deal. You have already inject that, so you use locator, it will do that for you. Okay, yeah, so here we're good. And also we need to inject product block, so locator dot register factory, and then product block, it will expect that, and then locator, then we're good. All right, so we're injecting, so when in time we call product block, we get it will handle for us all this dependency of it. And lastly, we go on the main injection container, and then we pass await product injection container. Okay, good. Now I don't want this. You need to make sure you export this product injection. Okay, so product d dot product injection, and then here you will import only the products. Okay, so this is just a clean way to make sure all the injections are happening on their own all the features. We are, for a specific feature, we're going to inject all the necessary thing, and we're going to import that class only. So this main one will not be filled with a lot of lines, which will make it so huge to manage later on. So if we need to fix something, we'll go to a specific feature with its own injection container and fix it, and then here we will have a clean file. Okay, that's good. So after doing this, everything is okay. We need to make sure block is available all over our class. So we need to make sure block is available. So how do we do that? We need to wrap our material router with block provider. Okay, so block provider, and then here I want to also call Flutter block. I want to have convert to multi-block provider because we're going to have a lot. And here just call locator, and then call the product block itself. Okay, this, with the help of located, means it will inject also the product repository for us. So with this we are good. Now product block, it will be available everywhere. So if you can see my previous videos, this is another approach, but also you can only use block provider on the specific feature itself, wrap it with, so it will be on top of the tree, and all those widgets which are underneath that tree below that will have access to that. So that's another way if you don't want to fill a lot of or interact with main or app view here. So another way is, simplest way is just inject that, and then you will have access to all of those information and block. After we've done with us repository for the block, for the product, and also defining the block and all state, the next part is to see how do we connect the business logic with our UI. Okay, so we want to achieve this. Okay, so the main part here, this will be just a normal widget here, no much interaction, but we will see when we deal with cut here. Search, we will see how to implement search later on. Also, this is just a slider, and so our main focus is to fetch all categories. As you can see here, it was just hard coded for the UI development, and also fetching all products, but also lastly, when you click this one of the categories, you should also see this layout which will display all products that are belonging to that category. But also when you click a single product, you should see its details, so it will have a single page UI. Okay, so I'm sorry to say this, but I didn't put much focusing on recording the I'm not going to record much of the UI part because this project is so big, and I don't want to make the project with having a lot of hours. Okay, so most of the UI I'm going just to add them, and I'm going to explain what I've done, so as we can focus mostly on the business logic, user experience, and all those necessary functionality. Okay, so the e-commerce is big. We still have a lot of features to conclude them and implement them. So if I will do recording also of the UI, I think it will take a lot of time. Okay, so now what I've done is I've included all the necessary UI, and so as we can only focusing on adding the functionalities. Okay, so if you see here, we have this bottom navigation, and also okay, so how can we achieve this? Because this is the first part, we need to make sure it's done, and then the home screen will be this one with all of these necessary information here. Okay, so we need to see how do we achieve bottom navigation bar. Okay, so this is just a bottom navigation bar. Okay, how do we achieve this? And then we'll move to all of these components on the home screen. So I created its own feature, home screen, which contains all of the necessary widget, okay, that are responsible for rendering and displaying our home screen. Okay, so in order to achieve bottom navigation bar, goRouter has something called stateful shell route. So this is it will help in making sure we can implement bottom navigation bar. So it's just a class, so just that helps in having this kind of nested navigation. You can achieve nested navigation by the use of this branch. So what is happening here, I will explain. I've added stateful shell route, okay, index tag. This takes here up to here, okay, and then this expect a builder and also all of the necessary branches. A builder, it will be the main screen, which is presented here under home screen. It expects a stateful navigation shell, okay? And here, because we have 4 tabs, so 1, 2, 3, 4, I've added them. There will be a bottom navigation bar, so you wrap this with scaffold, and then you add all this bottom navigation bar. This is just a Flutter widget, okay? And we have this kind of we go back here, I will explain. We have this stateful shell branch, so this will represent each one of them. So if there are 4, it means we have to have stateful shell branch 4. Okay, so we have this, and they have their own routes and name. So I just added them here: search, favorite, profile, product details. You have to deal with it, and also home view. Okay, so you add a stateful shell branch with all necessary you put a route inside. So why is this way? So also you can have nested navigation inside this one branch, but we're not going to do that. Okay, so one stateful shell branch, and it's expecting routes. We go to supply it with one route, the go router, and then we put all this kind of transition page. These are just for animation stuff. Okay, and the same applies to search. We will add another stateful shell branch, okay, and then we'll include the route, okay, and then all goes up to the profile. So orders profile, okay. So this is the second one, this is the third one, and also this is the fourth one, okay. And then we will include also all the screens. For now, I just put an empty container because we're only focusing now in home screen. Okay, so just remember to do that. Okay, main screen, expect navigation shell, and with this we are able to switch between one tab to another, okay, with the help of navigation shell. So this is on top. When you tap of it, it will go to the index that you specified. Okay, navigation shell .branch.index. This is just a normal function, and here you pass the current index. Okay, so navigation shell .current index, and all these are just styling stuffs. Okay, and the body should be a navigation shell. Okay, that's it. So this is just you can go on the documentation and see. You can play with it. There are a lot of you can do advanced stuffs here, but you just go to the Go Router documentation and see. There are a lot of things you can use with the Go Router. Okay, so with this, we'll be able to achieve this bottom navigation bar, and when we will tap, we will see when we run the app, they will be changing to one another based on where you do tap it. Okay, so that's it for the bottom navigation bar. Now, if you see the bottom navigation bar as this, the first, it is home screen. So we have all this component, or I can call them widgets. Okay, so discover, search, slider, categories, and all the product. Okay, so all of them, I use custom scroll view to achieve some kind of beautiful, some custom scrolling experience. Why? Because you will see this discover will always be on top, and when you scroll, so with the help of slivers, it's easy to do that. Okay, so you just pin at the top, and then while you scroll to see other product, this section will be visible. Okay, so you use custom scroll view, and custom scroll view expect slivers, and I want you to explain to you one thing. So slivers, it expect few things here. Okay, if you want to add, let's say, a normal search like this, okay, you need to code it in a normal way. This will be a text form field with a suffix, I think icon, search, that's it. But when you include it, you need to wrap it with sliver to box adapter. So without doing that, you're going to experience some errors. Okay, so this was, for example, if I go back to home sliver bar, this is just a normal sliver bar. So there's sliver bar, there's sliver to box adapter, sliver list, sliver grid, and also you can add some custom with the help of extend sliver get head. I think I will check on the documentation the name of it. Okay, so this sliver bar, you add it will be able to achieve this part. So it's just a normal bar, but you just added the sliver bar. We expect title, text. So because I want this to be always on visible while we scroll, I use pin true. Background is white, expanded height, it's 50, and the normal title, it's the padding, and then inside here we have row, this one, because we have to put this cover and the cut. So the text, okay, and then the badge, this is coming from badge package, okay, and then it's normal icon here. We'll see how to put this to be dynamic based on how many items you add to cart. Okay, so I've separated it on its own widget for just clean code. Okay, and if you want to add height, just to separate one widget with another, you just have to use size box, but you need to wrap it with sliver to box adapter. Okay, so okay, so there's things that okay, so make sure you wrap sliver to box adapter on any widget that doesn't have some kind of scrolling. So if it's a normal widget or just you want to add height, you need to wrap that with sliver to box adapter. Otherwise, that will never you're going to experience some errors. Okay, so now let's continue and I will explain the remaining ones. And we need to also, this is a slider, we will see, I will also show you. So here it is, I've just had some height, and then we have this widget. Okay, so it's just, these are just images, just you need to add them on your asset. Okay, and then in pubs.yaml you add them in this way. So we slash, it means anytime you add the image, you don't have to specify it here, you will have access to it. Okay, and this is just, we also, as usual, you need to wrap it with sliver to box adapter because it's not a scroll, it's not a list of items, so it doesn't scroll to it doesn't scroll like a normal list view. So you need to wrap it with sliver to box adapter, and then we specify some height of it. Then there's tag, because we have the pictures inside, and also this some kind of these indicators we'll see when we run the app. And then we'll page view expect children's, these are just all those images. Okay, you can decide if you want them to come from the from the backend, and we just map it, and then we add this kind of a UI, which will be a stack, and then container with some rect, which will give this kind of radius. Okay, so this advertisement map, and then we define what the widget should look like, and then you just make sure you add the up to list. So if you add 4 pictures, that will be also available. And then this position is just a smooth page indicator. It's a package which give us this kind of be able to customize, and it will we achieve this. Okay, so this is just an indicator which expect a page controller, and those also the list of all images. Okay, good. Now we are going, the next part is, I don't know if this is right, we need to add one or just leave it. The next part is this home categories view, which is this one. It takes all categories and like they're just cheap, which show the name of the category. So you need to wrap it with sliver to box adapter because it's not a scroll view. And define a height. We define this for testing purpose, but we add those coming from the endpoint, the items, the all categories. So it's just a chip with the label, and then the label will also provide the name just coming from the category. Okay, that's it. And then we have this all home product view. So this one, okay, so this part, which will be a list. It will also, there may be many products, the image of the product name, the stock, the price. Okay, so this is a sliver grid which is available inside slivers, and then you just use grid delegate and all those sliver. So this is normal. I think this is also the same for if you're using grid view. Okay, and just specify aspect ratio here for having some flexible height, and then this sliver child delegate, sliver child builder delegate, which will have this product card, which is just a normal product card, shows all of these items, image, product name. So I've just hard coded them, but we'll see how to make them dynamic based by putting items that are coming from the database. And also you have to remember the child count. This also will be the list, the length of the list of those products that are coming from the backend. So with this, we are able to have this kind of a UI. You see, we try our best to separate everything, and each component it is on its own, so it's easy also to maintain it or making it more complex later on. So now I want to show you quickly our folder structure here. As you can see, we have a lot of components, but we are only importing it, the products. How do we achieve that? So in presentation, we have widgets and pages folders and the presentation itself. Okay, and in pages, we're going to add all the pages. Okay, but we're going to export them in pages to that. So this way. Okay, so this flow. So meaning if you want home screen, we don't have to import its own. We will import pages, and then we'll have home screen. So if it happens we need home screen and main screen at all of them, by importing pages or that, we will have all of this. So just to avoid importing a lot of files and making the file having a lot of import. Okay, so same applies to widgets. We have all those widgets, meaning the widget that are reusable, or we just want to extract them on their own. We will achieve that, and then we export them all. And in presentation, we have pages and widgets. So with this, the code is clean, home screen, so we won't have a lot of imports. So it's just a folder structure. It's not necessary to follow it, but just to avoid having so many imports on a single file. Okay, so with that, I think we can go to start interacting with our APIs and retrieving all those necessary information that are coming from our database. Okay, starting to communicate with our repository. I want to add one thing here, and the widgets, I'm going to call it loading indicator. I'm going to have defining the global one that we're going to reuse for in any place that we need to show a loading indicator. and here is going to be uploading indicator. Okay, so what I want to use here, I added some couple of packages. I'm going to use Flutter Spin Kit, and we're going to also have catch network image and cat swiper. We're going to see where we're going to use this, but I'm going to use this. It has some kind of cool loading indicator stuff with some kind of animation in it. Okay, so here I want spin kit 3 bounce. Okay, so the color is going to be the main color. I want to import it from utils. So I'm going to do one thing here is final bool vertical. I'm going to show you why, and also final double size, and then generate constructor. Okay, and it's not going to be required, but this of the vertical by default is going to be false, and then the size I'm going to keep it on 100, and then here what I'm doing is if it's vertical then show this, else show spin kit repo. Okay, and size, just put the size, and then color, just put palette main color. Okay, that's it. So with that, we're going to use all this for every place that we will need to show a loading indicator while we're fetching for information. Okay, so that with that being said, after that we need to go to start to interact with our home UI. So the first thing here is, as you can see in home screen, home sliver bar, we don't need to do with it anymore for now. Home search bar, we're going to leave it for later on. Advertisement panel, we are going to keep it, it will show all this local asset. We need to start here. So we want to fetch all categories. Okay, so how can we achieve that? Remember, we have our block ready, so we need to convert this to stateful, and then when this component is ready, we need to use BLOF. BLOF is just I think snippet that we can use to have this block, then you can use this to communicate with your block. So here is where we will see how do we use our product event load categories. Okay, so what is happening here is we're telling our product block if on load categories. Okay, so remember here on load categories, this one, call this on get all categories. So what it will do, it will fetch all the categories, and if there's an error, it will show us. If there's no error, it will give us all the categories, and we are managing that in our state. Okay, product state, we have these categories. Okay, now when we call this, when this is in the widget tree, it will add this event, and we will have the categories available for us if they are in the database. Okay, so what I need to do now is to wrap this list view with the block builder, Okay, so it's a product log, and then here it's a product state, and so we are saying if state dot status is product dot loading, then show us up loading indicator, but I'm not going to use this. I'm going to use up loading indicator. So I want to do one thing here. I want that to export it, because I don't want to loading indicator, and then in here loading indicator, it's going to come from widgets. Okay, and vertical here we're using true, so you will see the difference. And now if state dot categories is not empty, we need to show show them in a list view. Okay, and with this, and also we need to make sure we return by default an empty container. Okay, so return an empty container. Good. Now item count will be state dot categories dot length. Okay, and then inside here we're going to say final category model. Okay, category, okay, the current index. Then here we're going to put the name of that category dot name. Okay, so now this is coming from the database, and everything here is dynamic. It will based on the information that are coming from the database. So with this, let's test this, and then we'll move to another section, which will be retrieving all the product. Pause the video so to make sure it runs, then we show. And so now you can see the request was made and we have a response. This is all because of the loggers that we did some setup earlier. Okay, and also we have these block observers, which they are telling us what is happening. So now we have all those category. Let's do some hot restart to see, and you'll see it's happening fast. A loading indicator, which is in a vertical format. Okay, this one, I think it's horizontal. Not vertical. Vertical is going, I don't know, man, but it's horizontal. Okay, so you see it's happening fast because we are using our own local server, so there's not much. Okay, so now this is good. All our categories are being fetched from our API. Now let's see how to achieve having dynamic here. So you see, so this discover will be on top. That's why we use slivers. It is pinned. Okay, so many product. Okay, now let's get our product also from our database. Okay, so what we need to do also, we need to convert this to stateful widget so we can have that kind and it's in its state. And going to home categories, I'm just going to copy this, copy it, and then here we're going to have lock, and then here we're going to add the event of load products. Okay, and what we're going to do here is this liver grid will wrap it with block builder. Okay, product block, and then we have product state. Okay, and on the here is if state dot return uploading indicator is from widget, else if state dot product is not empty, just return this sliver grid. Okay, and okay, lastly just return a container. Okay, return a container. Okay, so okay, but also there may be a scenario where there is no product, so else if state dot product is empty, return okay child no product found. Oh, goDammit is so good. Okay, so yeah, so here what we need to do is in product we are going to pass the product model itself. Okay, so final product model, and then I believe we didn't call that, it's under lowercase, right? Yeah, and then here we are going to say on this widget we're expecting a product, and then here we are adding a constructor, and then it's going to go plain. We know to put product. Okay, and with this we can go to product card and add all those information, and we have product.name here. For the image I'm going to show you something, product name, and also we have because we can put it product stock. Okay, and also here we can put product.price. Okay, let's test this first, and then I will show you for email. Also, without forgetting, here we are going to say state child count state dot products dot length. Okay, this is good. Now let's reload. Let's do hot restart, and then check if everything is okay. What is it? So then this is a problem that we need to make sure here, as I said, slivers, we need this to wrap it with, it's very serious. If you don't wrap it with sliver to box adapter to box, it's going to complain a lot. Okay, and we didn't forget anywhere. Let's restart. Okay, now it's good. Okay, so as you see there is saying if I can, oh, I did hard restart. Okay, that's good. Now you see our product are these are the product that are in the database. Oh, okay, let's put it in dollars, man. Think yeah, at least. And here we can we give some space? No need. Okay, so this men's jeans is $5, $10, 25. That's it. Okay, that's good. Now I want to have to create a, a specific widget that will be responsible to show images with the use of cached network images, which will help in performance and making sure there is no need to load that image every time. Okay, so with that we can go to widget, then we can create image wrapper that. Okay, and then here stateless. Okay, call this image wrapper, and then here we are going to return a cache network image URL will be coming from this. We will pass it because we want this to be reusable on any place that we show the image, and then we can specify the height if we need, but it's not necessary. A generate constructor image URL is going to be the image itself that we're going to pass, and here we also have some placeholders. Okay, context URL is going to be image.asset. We have assets /images /loading .gif, if I'm correct. Yes, and also height is going to be height. Fit is going to be box fit would cover, and then width we're going to double dot infinity. Okay, so and also here we can specify it also fit. So this is just a placeholder which we will show this image while we're loading the actual image. What is it writing? Okay, and then with this we can use this, we can export here, export image wrapper, and then we can go to where's our product card. Okay, and then here we're going to call the image wrapper, and then the image itself, it's going to be product image. It's a list, so we need the first one because we are going only to show only the first one. Okay, and height here, let's put media query, get rid of size of height, and 1.8 times 0.35. Let's see. Should I? It's not showing. It's not showing them. So you can see now our images are coming, but I think I'm having an issue here. Assets, images. Oh, it's not there. Come on. Okay, let me add it and then I will show you. We're pretty sure now our product are well loaded. What we need to do now is to have a page where we can get all those details of that particular product. Let's say one product, and then we'll retrieve all those information so the user can see the description and all those necessary information, so it can make a decision to buy or not to buy the product. So we have these product details. Okay, so what we need here, we will navigate to this product detail. Okay, but we will need to pass an ID. Okay, and why we need to pass an ID? Because when this screen or when this product detail screen is being loaded, we will want to retrieve the information of that product based on the ID that has been passed on. Okay, so you remember we have an event that add event. Okay, the event itself is product dot load product and ID. The name ID it's going to be int dot pass widget dot ID. Okay, so when this page will be rendered, we will add this event, and it will retrieve the information of that product based on the ID that we passed on. But how can we pass this? How can we use goRouter to pass some parameters when we are navigating to one screen to another? So we're going to go back to core and then routes, and then we're going to see we have this product detail. It's okay for now, we are good, and we're going to copy one of these any, and then we're going to put it outside of stateful shell. Okay, it will be meaning a normal route, and then we're going to call it product detail. Okay, product detail, and the route is going to be product detail, and here it's going to be, I believe also we export it, is going to be this one, product details. Okay, and this we are going to pass it here. We import products, so it's expecting an ID. Okay, so how do we pass an ID? So with goRouter, there are many ways we can use the state itself dot URI dot query parameter, and then we pass an ID. Okay, and if it's not supplied, we pass an empty string. Okay, so this is one way of passing information from one while we're navigating. Okay, so we use state URI dot query parameters that ID, and then where do we want to use? Where do we navigate? Is in product detail. So in product detail here, this is going to be the card itself is going to be tappable, meaning we can tap. When we tap on it, it's going to navigate. Okay, so we're going to use query parameters. Okay, Here you are right with query parameters, and here we pass that with an ID. Okay, so here it's expect an ID, so we can pass here an ID, but we are putting it to string because this is an int. Okay, so with this, when we navigate to product detail, we'll have that information, the ID, and then we'll pass here on load product event, and load product event will be responsible to tell block that fetch the information of a single product based on ID. Okay, so with that we are good. Now we need to go to this main page itself, okay, and start to deal with it. So what we can do, we can wrap this as usual with the block builder, and then pass product block, and then state itself, and then if state product.loaded loading, then we can pass stuff here, and then we can wrap it in the center, and then here we are safe because we are outside of custom scroll view, so we don't need to pass sliver to box adapter. Okay, so state dot product if it's not equal to null. Okay, what I want is put all this, fetch all this information. Okay, and put it inside. Okay, and then make sure also it's too long, I don't know. Here we return an empty container. Okay, good. Now we just have to pass the information here. So we will, if the state product is not null, we will take the information of that product. Okay, product model, and then call it as product, and it's going to be the state of that product. And okay, so here we're having a swiper, which we install the package, so this will be responsible to display multiple images. Okay, so that's all that is doing here. Okay, and this is just to show you how many images and what current image you are on, like in like even in Instagram, how they show you that. Okay, so here product.name, and also here is product.description. Okay, yeah, that's it. So for a single page, that's all, nothing much. And also here we are showing the price of that product. Okay, so how can we achieve that? We want only a single thing here. We don't want an entire object of that. So how do we do that? We can use block selector. Okay, we specify the block itself that we want to use to select, and we specify the type of the item that you want to take. It's a string, and here we say state of product.name. It can be null, that's why we put that, and here we pass the state. Okay, and here we pass the state. Okay, here it's price, not okay. So that's it. So we are only taking a price, so we can use block selector to check to get only the price, and we can show it here. Okay, we don't need the entire model itself. So okay, with this, and here I think we need to put it in dollars. Okay, now let's run this and see if everything is working fine. Okay, after all this, So what we did, we navigate to product, we pass the ID, and also in routes, we define here, okay, and also its product detail self. We also supply all the information that are needed, okay. And also I added this loading.gif, so we will see what is it doing. Let's run this and see. Want to hot restart. We see this that loading GIF, which is like animating and before showing the real product. So let's test seeing the single product. It will see here this the help of swiper. Okay, so we can see all those products and the description and the price. Okay, we can go back, see this product. It's what is this? Okay, I need to maybe I need to use okay, so we need to restart. So there's a couple of things I noticed on all product. We don't want the vertical one, vertical to true, so we can remove this. And also on home screen, I think we have some space. I mean home between one. I'll copy this and then you need some space, man. And then okay, so let's run this hot restart and see. Okay, I want to see it. Come on. So okay, so now it's good. Now what I want is we need to, when we click one of these, electronics or fashion or beauty, we get all the product that belongs to that category. So how can we achieve that? I've added one screen. It's called all products by category. So it will fetch all the product based on that category, and then it will display that in the grid view, and then it will supply that product with meaning the UI will be the same, okay. But here we're not using sliver grid, we are using grid view.builder, okay. So how can we achieve that? So we're passing what will be the solution if you're passing an entire model, right? We can see. So we copy this and then we go to app router and okay, I don't want to write this down, so I will paste this for now, and then I will copy this and then copy it and then paste it, and then we will write it as copy this, remove this, okay, and then okay, and then I think I need to export it also here because I don't want to import on pages. Export, and then product by category, we're good, okay. And then that say the name parameter category model is required. We need also to pass, copy this, then add the route name, product by category. Okay, so product, you can call it product category view. It's okay. And then here we will product by category and then product by category. Okay, so we will achieve this of passing by the use of extra. Okay, so category model is going to state.extra as category model, and then we will pass here category model to category model. Okay, so this is how we will achieve it. So we pass it as extra, and then when we navigate to this page, we will pass the entire model itself. So where do we need to navigate? It is on home screen, home categories, and here. So in the chip itself. So here we can wrap it with an equal, and then okay, let me on top context.goName route. No, so here's product. Okay, product by category. Okay, here import go router itself, and then extra. You to expect extra, just pass an entire category model. Okay, so with this, when we go to product by category, we're going to have the category information, because we want the category name to show that on the app bar, and also the category ID to pass it on in the event, so that when it will be able to communicate with our product repository to fetch all the product based on that category. Okay, so let's test this. If we click fashion, we're going to have that. And okay, so these are all products that are in fashion, right? And what if we click electronics? These are the all products that are available in electronics. If we click this, we're going to see, okay, so this is good. And if we click beauty, you're going to have that, the name of the category and all the product associated with that category. So with this, we are good. The next part is how can we achieve add to cart. So when we click one of the product, add to cart, we show that how many items are in the cart. You can add quantities, 10, 20, and we can have a total amount, and we will use those information to submit the order. Okay, so let's also see that.